about the memo sent by the Ghanaian president about a base. And we also know that Nigeria has been approached by both countries on this matter. So there is clear evidence that these are the transformations happening in the world, at the world level, and that there are ongoing discussions, and Nigeria is a key target for them because of its strategic location in the region.
For a lot of
now, somebody said, if the Fulani or a northerner is scared of something like this, that means it must be something good. So therefore, they won't believe whatever any Fulani speaking grammar. See, they have messed up with our heads, no doubt. And I don't think it's going to it's going to get cured in this generation. I understand, but there are still people that can do what is called critical thinking, okay? I know, like I said, they've messed up with our heads. Immediately you saw him on there, automatically he's a Fulani. And whatever he had to say doesn't matter to you. Okay. But for those who can still kind of look things critically, I want to speak to you. How many of you have an idea of the current world politics? War here, war there, all of this stuff. And then how many of you probably have an idea that is actually already ongoing, what you can call the Third World War? And the Third World War, for some, is believed to be planned to be fought in Africa. And let me explain that to you. It's going to be war of many wars. Economic and the usual mortal wars. And if you are not paying attention, I hope you should now. Currently, all over the world, there is a belief among all these guys that the future, Africa, is their future. For some reason, without planning any recolonization or what have you, the last 10 years, I've seen the surge in the interest of all these different world power in Africa, in different parts of Africa. And the increasing rejection of the West, which is a threat, according to them, to their future. How? Before now, America, Europe, and some of their allies, they have used their presence in Africa to increase what you can call their, a bountiful reward from Africa by exploiting their resources and supplying weapons to continue to keep the continent restless. That is that. But China, they found their way too. Russia, they are back. And every one of them, China is making advancements. Russia is making advancements. And as these two are making advance in Africa, the West is depleting, depreciating. On this, they are now going to some of the supposed non-allied countries. Listen, there is something called NATO, because you know that I mean NATO. And there are also those who are not, there are members of that NATO, and there are those they call the non-allied members. These are people that are not compulsorily meant to be involved in any of their wars that they are waging all over the world against themselves. So in this case, Nigeria happened to be a non-allied of some of this, which means Nigeria could deal with China, deal with Russia, deal with America, deal with Europe, deal with Arab, deal with anybody without any level of allegiance. And the reason why Nigeria has been able, and a few other countries in West Africa have been able to do this, is because over the years, they've never allowed any of these military base and all that in their countries. They signed allied deals where, they have these military exchanges. Nigeria has same. Exchanges is when Nigeria can buy weapons from China, buy weapons from Russia, get weapons from America, buy weapons from Europe. Not many countries have that same privilege because their allegiance have been to either Russia, China, or America. And in most places in Africa, right, none of these, especially the West, one of the things that have made the West, when I say the West, I'm talking about America and Europe. One of the things that have made them lost so much ground in Africa is because they have treated Africa. They've treated African resources as more important than the Africans. So over the time, they've allowed, in fact, they've helped corrupt regimes to further oppress their people as long as the free flow of the resources. Now, somehow, these allegiances are now changing. The map is changing. So there is going to be future war. And it's no African war. It's the war of resources. It's war of natural mineral resources. And they will make you, Africans, fight the war. So if you are not seeing it yet, maybe you should. So where you are seeing Fulani or seeing Yoruba or seeing this or that, you see, when this happens, you will have no choice to say, if you try, because you have no choice not to participate, you will be conscripted into their war. And many of your young people will die. And this is the ground for it. So with the moment Nigeria takes this, which Kalu, if he's not thinking, maybe they should probably say it loud and clear to him, is that once this happens, whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Igala, Ijo, Ishekiri, Yoruba, Efiki, Tifi, Fulani, Hausa, whoever you are, they will pick you up every now and then. Why they are throwing your young people into their war, your resources will be used to fund it. And again, that's something you should be worried about. So it may sound like Abba because of base. Like I said, I'm talking to people who can think critically. I'm not talking to superstitious people who are living off some of the some of the Lulu delusion of things they've put in your head to make you feel like Nigeria is this or that. But listen to Professor Akinyemi. He is also a foreign affairs. He was a foreign affairs minister in Nigeria. He has this to say.
I'm shocked about this development, and I hope it is not true. We have a long history about attempts at installing a military base in Nigeria. You'll recall, no, you won't recall, you are too young. At the time of our independence, there was this attempt by the British to install a military base in Nigeria. It was raised in Parliament. Students from University of Ibadan came on a march, and there was a brouhaha, and finally they killed that project. Therefore, this will not be the first time that there will be an attempt to have a military base in Nigeria if it is true that there is such an attempt. The last thing Nigeria wants is to have a military base by a superpower in counterpoise to another superpower, because in a way, Russia moving into Niger, into Mali, into Burkina Faso, the United States moving into Nigeria brings us actually right into confrontation with each other. And that's the last thing we want. I know that we have problems with the jihadists, with ISIS. We have security problems, yes, but the solution is not for us to be in confrontation with another superpower. We will simply, you know, we will maximize our problems. Therefore, I hope it is not true. I hope.
Just so you know, you don't pretend, I believe you will not pretend that the war to capture Africa and our resources and use our people to defend the capture has been going on for the past 20 years all over Africa. Let me show you something. Talking about the presence of all these superpowers. You know about the Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, and few of them like that, meeting Russia and getting military support from Russia, which means Russia is building base in those places. And what Russia is promising them is that they will defend them against any Western power trying to destabilize their countries for their resources, like they are doing in Congo now. And they took the deal. So that to America is like Russia is there, China is there, and America is disappearing. That is unacceptable. Since America and Europe are powers, right? Nigeria taking this just simply means you are now American NATO, while the Mali, Mali, Niger, and the rest of them are Russians. Russians. So the moment they want to try anything out, all they have to do is just to shoot themselves, shoot from both sides. Remember, Russia is very far from Africa. Europe and the rest of them, they are not Africa. And all these people is like now bringing their own war right to us. Ask yourself, if this is about protecting Africans, how come they just, their base in Niger Republic, which seems to be the largest or biggest in that axis, it has been there for more than 20 years. How come the terrorists in the Sahel are still existing and growing stronger? French forces have been in the Niger Republic and some of these French-speaking countries and their bases, so they have been there for more than 50 years. And if you had the colonization period, they have been there for more than 100 years. And instead of the terrorism to die down and the people enjoy their resources, the terrorism continued to grow, escalated. So if anybody tells you that, now take a look at this. So many countries have different forces in Africa and where they are. Now, if you look at this map from your left, you will see Belgium, you will see Britain, you will see France and America, where they are currently stationed their different forces. All of this. And in Mali alone, look at that map called Mali. See how many forces there in Mali. And yet, there's no security in Mali from the terrorists for years. Then if you go to Niger as well, look at all of these forces all over the place. Let me go check. Do we have any of them in Nigeria? Let's see. Ivory Coast, Guinea, and then you go forward and then to Nigeria. So in Nigeria, you have the terrorists. These are the one in black spots. See where they are. Very close to Niger and Chad and the northeast of Nigeria. See that place called ISWAP attacks, that dark spots. But look at all these forces all over this place. Because they are not there to protect Africans. They are there to protect what they are taking from Africa. You get that now? So this is America. United States military bases all over Africa and where they are. See, as at 20, and how much they have actually spent in those places too for that period. So the bottom line is that it is not that there are no presence of America in Africa enough. It is just that their priority has never been about Africans, even if they say that all the time. So the depreciating presence of, the West in Africa is due to their help in sustaining poor leadership, draconic and dictators that have only made Africans poorer. And now that Russia, China have been dangling the carrot, building roads, training their military, supplying them weapons, building infrastructures across all these countries. So a lot of them are now shifting back. So if they're going to fight war in Africa, all they have is just to see if they can get the giant of Africa on board. And this is the man in charge of the place. He is a man who is ready to jump. Ask him to jump, he will jump as high as you might, as high. He will only ask you, like, how high? But he is currently missing. Where is Steve Numbu? It's not as if, like, if you see him, he's probably going to, bring any light into the room than darkness. But where is he? They said he can rule from anywhere. Okay, great. But where is anywhere? Do you know where is anywhere? We could have tracked him, all right, if their presidential jets are working. So you know what happened to their presidential jets? So Tinubu went to Netherlands. And as they were planning to go to Saudi Arabia, the aircraft, according to them, were packed up. It won't work. So they decided to go and bring the one for Shitty Man from Nigeria. So when they brought that one over, the moment that one touched down in Netherlands as well, it won't work. Abba. So they now said, okay, they should just send all of them for repair. And Kolu still had to proceed to Saudi Arabia on a chartered private jet. And since he appeared at the World Economic Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, he hasn't been seen in public since then. I know it could, because you know what they did to some of you who have always been asking, how come Tinubu is no longer shaking? How come Tinubu is no longer slurring when he talks? And somehow, some of you were convinced that he was pretending during the campaign. He was pretending not to be well. Well, should I say, God bless your ignorance, Abi? Well, here is the answer. Tinubu wasn't your president at the time. And he, as unwell as he was, he needed to have a break away from the public. But because he couldn't be away from the public. So what was that? It was now being shuttled back and forth. In the process, there are so many lapses. Okay? Some of the times he had to be drugged just to appear at different campaigns. And when he appears, he just say one blah, blah, blah nonsense. And they pack him up again, jag him up again, pump him up again for the next one. So they were managing him to push and push and push. And that's why he never had any TV or any one-on-one interview with anyone without them having to script or record it. But here is what changed. All right? In fact, this was one of the reports like Tinubu's camp in 2015, when they got the report that Buhari was very, very sick. Okay? That Buhari had a very serious terminal illness and he could die in 6 months. Okay? And that was why they felt like he should be president. Soruga would be president after that. So that didn't work. It was like a gamble that didn't last. So similar thing is now being said. This same health report is in the hand of these jihadist Arewa northern rogues. And they believe that maybe he's probably going to die after 6 months, the way he was doing. The way he's, they forgot the fact that, you see, this is 2024 now, by the way, okay? But this is 21st century. There are some healthcare that money can really buy, but it's just like, you know, it will only be for a while when nature will take its course, okay? For Buharis time, they had to use the body organs of God knows how many people just to kind of, they almost replaced almost everything in him. Kidney, heart, everything in him. Just to kind of post him up like that posture you have there. As for Tiknumbu, his own problem is drug-related, dementia. You understand that now? So it's called the drug withdrawal, the old age, the shaking, the slurring, and all of that. They were drug-related. So what did they do for Tiknumbu? Instead of taking him to France every now and then, why not bring France to, instead of taking him to the American hospital in France, why not bring them to Abuja inside the Aso Rock? Get him jagged, get him pumped, let him rest most of the time before he actually goes out there. It still doesn't make any sense than dropping big words that don't make any meaning. But a lot of you are so like, he's talking now when he's actually not making any sense. Right? However, that is like managing the problem. So you could still tell where he was. But the last 8 days, nobody has heard or seen Tiknumbu. I'm not like concerned though. I'm just saying, if he can rule from anywhere, the question is, where is anywhere? If it's in Saudi, if it's in Germany or German hospital, or if it's back to the American hospital in Paris, the ideal thing is just to say, oh, he's ruling you from Paris, or he's ruling you from Saudi. In fact, some of you are I think I'm having an audio issue. Can you still hear me? Sorry about that. There is a connection problem, right? And I think it affected the audio. I hope the audio is back now. It should be back. Thank you. I think it's the network. It's sort of a lag a bit there, and broke the connections network, rather. So I'm sorry about that. You see, network can be a little bit funny too. Okay, or if the sound is back, right? If I know. So if the sound is back, which I think it should. If the sound is back, somebody said it's not clear. What does that mean? Okay, I will be back in a second, okay? But before then, right, I want you to kind of listen to this.
People, this group of men who claim that are assembly members are not assembly members. They are not existing. I want it to be on record. I accepted that peace accord. I accepted that peace accord to give them a floating. That's the truth. There was nothing in that peace accord that's a constitutional issue. It's a political solution to a problem. And I accepted it because these were people that were eating in my house. These were people that have helped pay their children's school fees when I wasn't even a governor. So what is the thing there? Yeah, we might have a division, but I believe that one day we could also come together. And that was the reason I did it. But I think it's gotten to a time when I need to make a statement on this thing, so that they understand that they're not existing. The existence is me allowing them to exist. If I de-recognize them, they are nowhere. That's the truth. So, I want you to see the sacrifice I've made in the cause of allowing peace to be in our state. I can say here, with all amount of boldness, I've never called any policeman anywhere to go and harass anybody. I've never gone anywhere to do anything against anybody. But what happens to people that are supporting me? They are being harassed. They are being detained. There is no week that somebody doesn't come here with one letter of invitation for trump-up charges and all those things. And in the face of this, you use the word. And why I'm saying this is because of what my senior said here, restrain. I don't think the other party has shown any restraint. I am the one that have shown restraint in the face of this thing. I'm the one that is badly heated, even when I have.
Apologies to everyone once again. For some reason, I don't know why the audio is still kind of acting up. I'm going to need your help because we are about to open there. Give me a sec. So for some reason, I don't know why my voice or my audio is really acting up. But just give me a sec, okay? I'm going to go try and fix that. I'm so sorry. Sorry about this. All right. Well, let's see if the network is cool. Okay, then let's
people, those group of men who claim that are assembly members are not assembly members. They are not existing. I want it to be on record. I accepted that peace accord. I accepted that peace accord to give them a floating. That's the truth. There was nothing in that peace accord that's a constitutional issue. It's a political solution to a problem. And I accepted it because these were people that were eating in my house. These were people that have helped pay their children's school fees when I wasn't even a governor. So what is the thing there? Yeah, we might have a division, but I believe that one day we could also come together. And that was the reason I did it. But I think it's gotten to a time when I need to make a statement on this thing, so that they understand that they're not existing. Their existence is me allowing them to exist. If I de-recognize them, they are nowhere. That's the truth. So, I want you to see the sacrifice I've made in the cause of allowing peace to be in our state. I can say here, with all amount of boldness, I've never called any policeman anywhere to go and harass anybody. I've never gone anywhere to do anything against anybody. But what happens to people that are supporting me? They are being harassed. They are being detained. There is no week that somebody